Time for my favorite show.
Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld, along with Kennedy, Harold Ford Jr., Jesse Waters, and Sandra Smith, the Five. President Trump talking up America's golden age to the golden arches. 47 addressing McDonald's franchise owners at a summit, and he was loving it.
I'm honored to stand before you as the very first former McDonald's fry cook ever to become president of the United States. And I actually was there for about 30 minutes, and that was 30 minutes longer than Kamala was there. I like the fish. I like it. You could do a little bit more tartar sauce, please. They had restrictions on water. They put a restrictor on. I won't mention the third item in the bathroom because I always get criticized. I used to mention that, but I don't mention it anymore because you know what I think you do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you shouldn't be owning a McDonald's franchise. I even got Bobby Kennedy to eat a Big Mac. And he told me he loved it.
Not a grimace was seen as Trump told the Mickey D's owners he's ready to supersize the cash in Americans' pockets and finally end Biden's affordability crisis.
The word is affordable, and affordable should be our word, not theirs, because the Democrats got up and talked affordability, and they don't say that they had the worst inflation in history, the highest energy prices in history. Everything was the worst. The Biden administration started the affordability crisis, and my administration is ending it. I'm ending it.
The government can't do everything. You got to snatch the American dream. You got to sacrifice. When you're young, you got to bust your butt. You got to fall in love. You got to take risks. You got to save money. All of those things are out there for the taking. You just have to grab it.
All right. So, Kennedy, Jesse didn't answer my question, so I posed it to you.
That's how I know he needs to run for office.
Yes, exactly.
Because he will take anything and twist it around to something he wants to talk
Exactly.
about.
So you have Trump, who's 80-20 on every issue. He's right on the right side of issues, but the Democrats don't join it because it's Trump. What does Trump do is he sees that affordability is a good issue, and he jumps into it with different solutions. That's what the Dems should have tried.
They should have tried that. They lost on that. That's why they lost 2024, in addition to having a horrible candidate. But if they had leaned into the populism that got Trump to office in the first place in 2016 and realized that that's where the voters were at, but instead they abandoned them for all the snobby, weird, elitist issues about transgender men playing in women's sports, and they bet on the wrong side of that issue. We didn't even know what an 80-20 issue was until Trump exploited it. But the problem is, as these elections just showed us in New Jersey, Virginia, here in New York City, is that Republicans did cede a lot of ground on the populism and affordability. And voters get really skittish. And this is, Harold and I talked about this last week, the fickle voters, when they feel like they still can't afford anything, they know no party. And they didn't like Biden lecturing them for 4 years saying, hey, inflation is fine. You can afford everything. And they were worried that Trump was starting to do the same thing, because the problem is, if you're touting only certain aspects of your economy, you are turning your back on the real pain that people are facing. Now, what he has to reconcile is, are his tariffs exacerbating that? And will giving people this $2,000 tariff credit create an inflationary environment? And if that's the case, he's kind of making the argument against his own tariffs.
Except, though, he's not printing money. He's just taking...
That's the Fed, which we have to end. Thank you, Ron Paul.